What's up guys, it's JTB Gaming here, and today we have the second episode of our Grimsby Town Road to Glory. And to start this episode off, we have some bad news as Waterfall is out for 7 days with a pulled hip flexor, so he will miss our FA Cup game against Stevenage. We now host Stevenage in the FA Cup. We will be lining up in his 4-1-3-2. With Waterfall being out due to injury, I've moved Pollock to right center back and put Rafferty at left center back. And those are the only changes that I've made. Stevenage will be lining up in a 4-1-4-1. We will probably have to hit this team on the counterattack as this is a very defensive formation. In the 16th minute, Lancaster has the ball out wide. He beats his defender and then crosses it into Gioacchini, who puts the ball in the back of the net to put us up 1-0. In stoppage time of the first half, Stevenage with the ball in. We fail to clear it away before it falls to their player, who volleys it into the back of the net to tie the game at 1-1. At full time, we would tie Stevenage 1-1 with a goal from Gioacchini in the 17th minute was cancelled out by a goal by Kennedy in the 45th minute. We have gone on to sell Richard O'Brien to Cambridge United for $105,000. We have also sold Ollie Battersby to Crawley Town for $80,000. We now travel to the Broadhall away to face Stevenage in this FA Cup replay. Stevenage have not made many changes to the team. We have made a couple of changes to the back line as Waterfall returns from injury, as he will be playing our right center back. Pollock has been moved back to left center back, and Rafferty will be now starting at left back. In the 8th minute, Stevenage have the ball on the edge of our box. We get the ball, however McConan cannot make the proper pass as Stevenage capitalized on the mistake to put them up 1-0. In the 10th minute, Vernon has the ball out wide right after the kickoff. He crosses it into Gioacchini, who's open in the back post, to put the ball in the back of the net, leveling the game at 1-1. In the 32nd minute, Stevenage have the ball, and behind the defense, their player shoots, it goes off the post. He's then able to put the rebound into the back of the net to put Stevenage up now 2-1. At full time, Stevenage would go on to win 2-1, as goals from Leslie and Kennedy were more than our goal from Gioacchini. After that tough loss against Stevenage, we now host Exeter City in the league. We have not made any changes to the starting 11 from that game against Stevenage. Exeter City will be lining up in a 5-2-2. Again, this could be a very defensive formation, so we will have to rely on the counterattack. At full time, we would go on to tie 0-0, which is not a bad result, but again, it's also not good as we are trying to make sure that we win the league. We now host Forest Green in the league. Considering the success we've had so far, I have again not made any changes to the starting lineup. Forest Green will be lining up in a 5-2-3. We will definitely have to watch out for Winchester and Williams. However, I feel like we will be able to neutralize them. In the 14th minute, Forest Green get the ball on the edge of our box. Their player is then able to volley it right upper 90, past McCohen, to put them up 1-0. In the 38th minute, Forest Green do a 1-2 around our player before they is then crossed into the box and put into the back of the net to put Forest Green up 2-0. In the 45th minute, Rafferty is dribbling down the box. He tries to cross it before he ends up taking it himself and puts it into the back of the net to put us now only down 2-1. In the 52nd minute, Forest Green have the ball out wide. It is then backheeled before it is passed into their striker, who is wide open as he puts it into the back of the net to put Forest Green up 3-1. In the 60th minute, Gioacchini is played in behind the defense. He is then able to put it past the keeper to make the score now 3-2. At full time, we would go on to lose to Forest Green 3-2, as goals from Gioacchini and Rafferty were not enough, as Williams, Allen, and Winchester were able to score for Forest Green. Just a couple of days after that Forest Green loss, we got even more bad news, as Rafferty has broken his tibia and he was going to be out for 4 months, which is also going to be for the rest of the season. Just a couple of days after the injury to Rafferty, we also got news that Vernon dislocated his shoulder and he's going to be out for 8 weeks. We now host Sunderland in the area final of the Leasing.com trophy. I have decided to change up the lineup, as we will be lining up in a 4-4-2 holding in order to get more defensive stability, as Rafferty is still out injured, so Waterfall returns to center back and Garmstom will be playing at left back, Burnham has recovered from his injury. Sunderland will be lining up in a 5-2-3. This is a very defensive formation, so again, we will have to look to counterattack. In the 83rd minute, Garmstorm fails to complete his cross before he tries again and finds Virtanen, who puts the ball into the back of the net to put us up 1-0. At full time, we would go on to defeat Sunderland 1-0, knocking them out of the Leasing.com trophy thanks to that goal by Virtanen in the 83rd minute. We have gotten more bad injury news as Bradley Garmstorm is out for 3 weeks with a sprained ankle. We get even more bad news as Waterfall has been diagnosed with a broken tailbone and he is out for 4 months, which is also the rest of the season. We now travel to Glanford Park to face our main rival Scunthorpe United in the league. Scunthorpe United will be lining up in a 4-4-1-1. Most notably, their striker Miller is not playing as he was able to score 2 goals against us the last time we faced them in the league, so we should be able to win. We will be lining up in a 4-4-2. Staunton is entered the starting lineup as Waterfall is out injured, as he will be paired with Pollock. Glennon will be playing left back as Rafferty and Garmstorm are out injured. Grandin will be playing right mid as Vernon is out injured. In the 65th minute, Virtanen has the ball. He then plays it into Gioacchini, who shoots and scores to put us up 1-0. At full time, we would go on to beat our main rival Scunthorpe United 1-0 thanks to a goal from Gioacchini in the 65th minute. We now host Cambridge United in the league. We have not made any changes to our starting lineup from that game against Scunthorpe United. Cambridge United will be lining up in a 4-2-2-2. Noyles, Darling, and Davies and Lewis definitely are not League 2 quality, so this should be an easy win for us. In the 12th minute, Cambridge United have the ball on the edge of our box. Their striker fails to complete the pass. He tries again and finds his teammate who puts the ball into the back of the net to put Cambridge United up 1-0. In the 33rd minute, we have the ball out wide before it's played into Hessenthaler, who curls it around the keeper off the post to tie the game at 1-1. In the 41st minute, Cambridge United have the ball on the edge of our box. Their strikers complete a give and go before their striker is able to put it past McCowan to make the score now 2-1 Cambridge United. In the 88th minute, Cambridge United have the ball on the edge of our box. Their striker is then found wide open before he puts it past McCowan to make the score now 3-1 Cambridge United. At full time, we would go on to lose to Cambridge United 3-1, as Hessenthaler scored for us, but his goal was not enough as Noyles, Nibbs, and Smith all scored for Cambridge United. I'm going to be promoting Chris McMahon. He is a 55 overall and he has decent potential, but with the injury to Waterfall, we need a backup center back. A month later, we are looking at a new set of youth players, and I will be promoting Henry White. He is a defensive mid. He is a 58 overall and he has a potential of 70-90, and he could be a good replacement for Hessenthaler. The next player that I am promoting is Charles Baker. He's a goalkeeper. He is a 53 overall. He has a potential of 72-90, as he could be the goalkeeper for the future for the club. The next player that I am going to be promoting is Brendan Breen. He is a 57 overall. He has a potential of 64-82. He will mostly just be promoted just to have some more squad depth. The final youth player that I will be promoting at this time is Lewis White. He is a right back. He is a 57 overall. He has a potential of 61-79, and he is just being promoted just to have some more squad depth. After beating Sunderland in the area final of the Leasing.com trophy, we have been drawn in the final against Portsmouth. We now travel to Wembley Stadium to face Portsmouth in the final of the Leasing.com trophy. Portsmouth will be lining up in a 4-2-3-1. The two players that we are going to have to watch out for is Marquise and Curtis, as they are very good players. For this game, I have decided to change us to a 4-3-3 attack due to our injuries, so we'll have McCowan in goal, Hendry, Staunton, Pollock, and Garmstorm in the back, Sibley and Hessenthaler at center mids, Grandin at attacking mids, with Gioacchini, Virtanen, and Lancaster up top. In the 39th minute, we conceded a penalty as Marquise steps up, and he is able to convert the penalty, putting Portsmouth up 1-0. Unfortunately, at full time, we would go on to lose to Portsmouth 1-0 because of that penalty by Marquise in the 39th minute, as this is a very devastating loss, as this was our first chance to get any silverware. We now have to shake off that tough loss against Portsmouth to face Port Vale at Vale Park in the league. Port Vale will be lining up in a 4-1-4-1. This is a very defensive formation. The only player that I feel like we'll have to watch out for is Walsall, their right mid. We will be changing back to a 4-4-2 because that 4-3-3 attack just did not work, as we will have Hendry, Staunton, Pollock, and Garmston in the back, Lancaster, Hessenthaler, Sibley, and Vernham in the midfield with Vertanen and Gioacchini up top. Right after kickoff, Vernham plays Sibley. He then crosses it into the back post, and Gioacchini is there to meet it as he puts it into the back of the net to put us up 1-0. In the 33rd minute, Gioacchini is dribbling the ball. He gets past the defender. He shoots, the keeper saves it, but he is able to score the rebound as we now go up 2-0. In the 43rd minute, Port Vale have the ball out wide. Is then cut back before their player strikes an absolute beauty of a shot as we are now only up 2-1. In stoppage time of the first half, Vertanen has the ball out wide. He then cuts it back to Vernham, who puts the ball near post to put us up 3-1. At full time, we would go on to beat Port Vale 3-1, as Gioacchini scored in the 3rd and 33rd minute, and Vernham scored in the 45th minute. After that win against Port Vale, we look to continue our hot form as we face Walsall in the league. We will again be lining up in this 4-4-2 as it worked well in the Port Vale game. Walsall will also be lining up in a 4-4-2. The player that we're going to have to watch out for is Adebayo. In the 20th minute, we have the ball out wide before we cut it back to Vertanen, who smashes the ball into the back of the net to put us up 1-0. In the 33rd minute, Sibley has the ball. He beats the defender and plays Vertanen in behind the defense. He hits it first time off the post into the back of the net to put us up now 2-0. In the 90th minute, Walsall are working the ball on the edge of our box. Their player is able to turn around Pollock and put the ball into the back of the net to make the score now 2-1. At full time, we would go on to beat Walsall 2-1, as goals from Vertanen in the 21st and 33rd minute were enough to beat McDonald's goal in the 90th minute. At the full time, the players would begin celebrating, as this win against Walsall meant that we have got in promotion up to the 3rd tier of English football, as this is our first big accomplishment so far this season. Heading into this game against Oldham Athletic, we are put into a position where if we are able to win this game, we are able to win the league. The only game that we currently care about is that Macclesfield versus Swindon Town game. We now host Oldham Athletic at the Blundell Park for a possible title-winning game. We will continue to line up in this 4-4-2. The only changes that we have made is Clark is in for Vertanen as he is currently fatigued, and Grandin is in for Lancaster as he is also fatigued. Oldham Athletic will be lining up in this 4-4-2. The one player we'll probably have to watch out for is Rowe, as he is a young, promising player. In the 13th minute, Gioacchini is out wide before he plays it into Grandin, who shoots, is blocked, but he wins the header for the rebound and puts it into the back of the net to put us up 1-0. At halftime, we're up 1-0 thanks to that goal from Grandin in the 13th minute. Looking at the score of that Swindon Town and Macclesfield game at halftime, Swindon Town are up 1-0. However, that does not matter as we are currently up 1-0. In the 61st minute, Vernham has the ball out wide. He crosses it back post to Gioacchini, who smashes the ball into the back of the net, practically sealing us the title as we go up 2-0. At full time, we would go on to beat Oldham Athletic 2-0 thanks to a goal from Grandin in the 13th minute and Gioacchini in the 62nd minute. The players now are overcome with emotion, as that win against Oldham Athletic means that we have gone on to win the league. This is an amazing accomplishment for the team, as we were able to go from a team that was expected to finish mid-table to winning the league. The players all get together and celebrate, as they know that their hard work has finally paid off. The players now line up for the trophy, as the captain Pollock will be the one to lift it. Pollock now steps up onto the podium to lift the trophy. He grabs the trophy and he lifts it, as we are now EFL League 2 champions. Here is the official team picture of Grimsby Town, who are EFL League 2 champions. Looking at the standings at the end of the season, we did finish in first of the league, as we won 28 games, we drew 13 games, we only lost 5 games, we scored 92 goals, we only allowed 45 goals to have a positive goal difference of 47 goals, and finished on 97 points. Gioacchini ended up being the top goal scorer in the league, as he scored 27 goals in 46 matches. Looking at the players who had the most assists, Vernon and Sibley both tied for third, as they both had 10 assists. McCohen was able to keep the most clean sheets, as he was able to keep 16 in 45 games. In the FA Cup, we were knocked out in the round 3 replay against Stevenage 2-1. In round 1 of the Carabao Cup, we would go on to lose to Sunderland 3-2 on penalties after drawing the game 1-1. In the Leasing.com trophy, we ended up losing in the final to Portsmouth 1-0. Looking at the top goal scorers of the Leasing.com trophy, Vertanen was able to be the top goal scorer, as he scored 5 goals in 5 games. Looking at assists, Vertanen tied for first, as he had 2 assists in 5 games, along with Sibley. McCowan tied for third, as he kept 1 clean sheet in the Leasing.com trophy. We are now looking at our players' stats across the whole entire season, and we first look at the appearances, as Hessenthaler made the most appearances, as he appeared in 60 games. McCowan and Pollock appeared in 59, and Hendry appeared in 58. Our top goal scorers were Gioacchini with 34 goals, Vertanen with 20 goals, and Vernon with 13 goals. Sibley was able to have the most assists on the team, as he had 12, and right behind him was Vernon with 11 assists, and Lancaster and Hessenthaler also had 9 assists. McCowan, Pollock, Hendry, and Hessenthaler were able to keep the most clean sheets with 19, with Sibley finishing with 18 and Lancaster finishing with 17. Looking now at our players who have the highest overall, Sibley is our best player, as he is a 68 overall. Vertanen, Gioacchini, and Pollock are now 67 overalls, and McCowan and Hessenthaler are 66 overalls. We did have a couple of players whose overall went down, as Hansen and Russell went down 2 overalls, and Green, Clark, and Grandin went down 1 overall. We had many players whose overall increased, but the players whose overall increased the most were Vertanen and Pollock, as they both went up by 7. Evans, Gioacchini, Staunton, Allen, and Sibley went up by 6, and Lancaster went up by 5. We have a 3-way tie for our most valuable players, as it is a tie between Vertanen, Gioacchini, and Sibley, as they are all worth $1.4 million. Pollock is worth $1.1 million, and Lancaster is worth $1 million. Looking at our club financially, the club is now worth $7.23 million, with a projection of $7.69 million. We have gone on to sell James Tilley, as he will be joining Salford City for $270,000. Another player that we have gone on to sell is Matt Green, as we have sold him to Al Hazem for $60,000. Looking at the players whose contracts are expiring and will not be returning to the team, Glennon and Benson will be returning back to their parent clubs, as they were out on loan. I've decided not to renew the contracts of Garmstom, Clark, Rose, Starbuck, Curran, or Grandin, just because I don't feel like they will be of any use to the team. Looking at our overall resume, we have won 1 league. Our biggest win was in the preseason, as we beat Eskiltuna 4-0. Our biggest defeat was that league loss to Scunthorpe, as we lost to them 5-2. The record transfer fee is $875,000. We have played in 60 games. We have won 38, we have drawn 14, and we lost 8. We have scored 117 goals while only allowing 59. Looking at the season specifically, the club wanted us to finish mid-table in the league, we were able to achieve that and go beyond as we went on to win the league. The club wanted us to reach the round of 32 stage in the FA Cup, which we were not able to do. In the Carabao Cup, we were knocked out in the first round. In the Leasing.com trophy, we would go on to make it to the final. We never won Manager of the Month as well as Manager of the Year. The record transfer fee that we paid was for Gioacchini of $875,000. The highest transfer fee that we received was for Omen of $440,000. This season we did play in 60 games. We won 38, we drew 14, we lost 8, we scored 117 while only allowing 59. Thank you all for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. The next episode of this should be coming out next week because on Saturday I will be posting the final to the Cambridge United Road to Glory, and you can check out that playlist on the screen now. And it's J2B Gaming, signing off.